Right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Power Up on this Monday. Good to be with you today. Thank you for joining me as we look into the Word of God. Trust that you had a good weekend. Trust that you're able to get into church. We had a wonderful time in church for our two services yesterday. It was great gathering around the Lord's table, hearing some testimonies, singing some favorite hymns as well, and just thoroughly enjoy getting together in the Lord's house with God's people. And let me encourage you, if you were not able to get into God's house yesterday, be sure and get into God's house the next time that the church doors are open. Man, there's nothing like it. So be sure and be in church. There's nothing like it, and I don't think there's anything more important that you can do on a Sunday than worship the Lord. Well, any day, worship the Lord. But Sundays are set aside where we worship the Lord with God's people, and that's exciting. That's where it's at. Once again, thanks for joining us. Hey, be sure to hit that share button as you're just now jumping on, so that others can jump on as well. And thank you once again for being on with us. It is Monday, August the 7th. And man, we are a quarter of the way. Well, not quite a quarter of the way through August yet, but it's hard to believe we're at the 7th, man, the 14th, 21st, 28th, man, we're getting there. And man, we've got, let me just say this. Actually, we'll do that at the end, okay? So remind me about that. We've got kind of a busy week here at the church, so please remind me to say a word or two about that. Now, we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, final chapter of this book. So I want to encourage you along a couple of lines here. First of all, hey, let's finish out strong. Be sure to be here for each verse as we go up through this final chapter. And then, hey, we've got to figure out here, hey, where are we going next? And so I want to give you an opportunity to chime in, to give your feedback of what you would like to study, where you would like to go, and we'll see if we can make that happen here. Okay, so here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter number 16 and verse number 1 this morning. Okay, now concerning the collection for the saints, and that the word concerning there, as we look at the second verse of this chapter, kind of indicates that the church in Corinth had communicated about this upcoming topic with Paul. They'd had some question about it. They'd sent word about it, say, hey, what do we do about this situation? And so he's addressing this in this closing chapter, addressing this final question that the church at Corinth had made. We've noted the church at Corinth had some unique challenges, but I believe that they wanted to serve the Lord. They wanted to take care of the Apostle Paul. Paul's addressed many of these challenges. You look at, even in the last chapter, there was the challenge of, hey, is Jesus resurrected? Okay. And we noted that in the last chapter. We've noted some spiritual gifts and so on. There's been a lot of different topics we've looked over in Corinthians. But here Paul addresses this final thought here from the church at Corinth. He says, now concerning the collection for the saints, as I have given order to the church of Galatia, even so do ye. So there's this collection for the saints, for the church in Jerusalem, who were being persecuted, who were poor, they were in dire need. And so Paul has asked the churches at Jerusalem to give, or I'm sorry, the church of Galatia to give to the need that is in Jerusalem here. And so that's what he's addressing. He's going to address kind of the when of the collection. So let's look at that. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by him in store, as God hath prospered him, that there be no gatherings when I come. Paul says, hey, on the first day of the week, hey, you need to take a collection for the church at Jerusalem. He says, I want you to do that so that when I come, you've got everything set and ready to go. We can send off that collection to the church at Jerusalem. And so, hey, first day of the week, give as God has prospered you. And we might say it and say from time to time, hey, you give as God has blessed, give out of a heart of worship back to the Lord, is kind of what we say here. and we take that offering on the first day of the week. And so you give as God has blessed you. And then he says, hey, do it then so that there are no gatherings. There be no gatherings, no collecting when I come. Verse number 3. And then he says, hey, and when I come, whomsoever ye shall approve by your letters, them will I send to bring your liberality unto Jerusalem. So then Paul says, hey, okay, all right, take this offering, take this collection before I get there so that when I come, we can send it out. And we need to, or as a church, you need to agree on who to send to deliver that gift to the church, okay? And so, as we consider that, he says, get some letters together and approve by your letters. It's important for us as we consider even church leadership, church practice, church guidelines, and all of that, that the people that we have in place fulfilling different roles in our ministry are trustworthy individuals. And in our annual meetings, we vote on things and vote on people to head up certain areas of the ministry. We vote on deacons. We vote on people that deal with the finances and so on. And so there's a lot of that goes on. And that's a good thing to do. You think about Paul here says, hey, let's collect all this money. And then he says, hey, you need to figure out somebody who you can trust to send that money into Jerusalem. And that's smart. You don't want people taking care of the money that you can't trust. You don't want people leading and heading up different ministries that you cannot trust. And that's only smart. Our world does that. They go through an interview process and all of that. How do we gauge who is able to serve in different capacities? We mentioned this even last night, that faith without works is dead. And so oftentimes somebody who is maybe eligible to fulfill a role in the church, they are judged by their works, okay? Faith is proved by your works. It's kind of like this. Nearly 5 years ago, I became the pastor here at Calvary Baptist Church. Hard to believe. 5 years has gone already. But as we think about that, I didn't just come pastor because I said, "Hey, I want to be your pastor." I didn't. It didn't happen like that. But rather, it was my faith. It was my works, how I'd been serving the Lord previous, and among other things. But there was some proof there that, hey, maybe he's ready for the pastorate. He's got some experience under his belt. Hey. Phil's been for 14 years serving the Lord. There's a body of work there, and so, hey, we can call him to be our pastor. The pastor is not to be a novice, as we know the scriptures say. And the same is true for many other church positions. There has got to be a body of work proving that faith, okay? And so that's kind of what Paul is saying here in regards to sending somebody to Jerusalem with this money. You want somebody you can trust. You want somebody who loves the Lord, somebody who loves people, somebody who's been faithful, somebody that maybe that has a burden for the people at Jerusalem as well. Okay, now verse number 4. Verse number 4, and if it be meet that I go also, they shall go with me. And so Paul says, hey, if I need to go to Jerusalem, I will go as well. If there needs to be maybe that accountability partner, hey, you trust me, I'm the one that's called for this collection. If I need to go, I can go if that needs to happen. And we see Paul's willingness. Obviously, he's got a tremendous desire to minister the Word of God. No doubt, I believe he wants to spend some time with the church at Corinth there, continuing to teach and train. But he knows that the church in Jerusalem is in need, and says, hey, if you would have a desire for me to go for some accountability and deliver this offering, this gift, hey, I will go. We see Paul's heart. Paul's heart just to be willing to be a servant. And that's the kind of heart that we need to have. Oftentimes we say, hey, I'll be involved in ministry, but only in this capacity. No, need to have a heart to serve. Okay, sometimes we play that game with God. We say, God, hey, I'll serve you with my life, but not in these ways, maybe in this way. And we've got to be careful about that. Hey, have a heart to just do whatever God has for you to do. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I can speak to my life. And for me, I was willing to just kind of serve wherever. In the previous ministry I was in, and you know what, in this ministry as well, I'm willing to just do whatever to jump in, and that's the heart we need to have. In California, if something needed to be done, hey, I was willing to do it. Just a couple of examples. I didn't have a whole lot of time to do it, but hey, the pastor says, hey, we need to get the football field mowed, and we need somebody to do that. And so, I just made that my job. I did it once a week, and until somebody else was able to do it. There was a need for somebody to lead music, and my pastor asked, and so I just said, okay, if you think I can do that, I'll do it. In the school, there were many different ways in which I was stretched and did different things. I'd never coached before in my life, and the pastor says, hey, I got a need for a coach. Hey, I got a need for a teacher in chemistry. I got a need for a teacher in Algebra 2. And I just said, hey, I'll give it a shot, and I'll do the best that I can with that. And that's the spirit we need to have. Once again, I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just using it as an example, okay? I don't want to build myself up. It's all about the Lord. He's the one that strengthened me for all of that. But that's the spirit we need to have when it comes to our service, when it comes to the ministry, when it comes to the Lord. Hey, God, I want to do what you would have me to do. And hey, I desire to serve in this area, but if you have me serving in another area, hey, willing to do that. So let's have that heart that's willing to just serve God. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that. Lord bless you. Have a great day, everybody. We'll touch base tomorrow. Before I let you go, we do want to greet those who have commented live, and I do want to remind you about a couple of things going on at the church. Wednesday, we have our Sunday school picnic at Beaver Creek Township Park, so please be there for that. We also have this Saturday a car wash at the church, so please be a part of that if you can and invite somebody to come get their car washed here at the church. And hey, jump in, be involved in the car wash as well. And then we've got services Sunday. Look forward to those. All right, busy week. Be a part of everything as you can. Let's get the word out about all of it. All right, here we go. Let's see who we got here. Good morning, Cliff and Karen. Thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you both. Ruth, good morning to you. Thank you for watching today. Ingrid, good morning to you. Hope you have a great day and love you. Charlie and Marcia, good morning. Thank you so much for being on as well. And then Cliff and Karen, thank you so much for that encouraging word there. We've had the time of our lives here serving at Calvary Baptist Church, and we wouldn't be anywhere else. So blessed to be here and for God to use us and to work through us, and really we get to work together. That's where it's all at.